On the interview segment, we will be discussing the e-commerce industry. According to eMarketer.com, the e-commerce industry has surpassed the $1 trillion mark, which shows how large the industry is. The story of Jack Ma, the school teacher who didn't have a background in technology but has gone on to become the founder of Alibaba, currently one of the biggest e-commerce companies in the world, just proves what is possible. And I might just add to them that believe. Now, the company has gone from 18 employees in 1999 to 22,000 as at 2014 when it went public. No doubt the Nigeria e-commerce industry is also booming. But is this boom real? Raphael Afaedor joins me to shed some light on the Nigerian e-commerce industry. He is a co-founder and CEO of Supermart.ng. Before that, he was the co-founder and managing director of Jumia. Raphael holds an MBA from the Harvard Business School. Welcome to Tech Trends.
Thank you for having me, Fred.
So how do you assess the current growth of the e-commerce industry?
No, I think the last 3-4 years have been actually phenomenal. We've seen really exponential growth of e-commerce purchases. And I think when I look back, I'm not actually surprised. I mean, when you're going into it, you know it's big. It's got to be very big. I mean, the Nigerian economy today is about $100 billion in terms of wholesale and retail. And you ask yourself, will people shop online? You look around, you see infrastructural challenges, whether within Lagos to move from one place to the other, you get stuck in traffic for long hours. So whether you want to send something further afield to Nasarawa, etc., you can't do that. So you know people have a need that e-commerce can solve. But when you look back at what exactly it's played, how exactly it's played out, it's very surprising. I think we started about 2,000-ish orders a day, and that's actually grown. My estimation is we're doing about 50,000 orders a day today in Lagos alone.
And what's the volume of that in monetary value?
It depends on the various orders, to be honest. I wouldn't try to go. I mean, I need to give myself some time to think about it. But I think it's growing super rapidly. And if you begin to even add other forms of e-transfers, right? So what bank transfers and mobile recharge cards being bought online, you begin to realize that this is actually going in a very, very right direction.
But aren't there too many of them? I mean, everywhere you go, you see new e-commerce sites springing up.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What you're going to find out is some will probably go into niche plays and be like, big players in a small space. Some will actually develop like, big platform type businesses. There's room for a lot of players in the market. Again, this is a nation of 170 million people with wholesale and retail about $100 billion. It can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people play. Beyond that, you're going to find out like Wakana is doing with airline bookings, like hotels and Jovago are doing with hotel booking. You have the Fashpas, the Event Tribes of the world doing specific fashion related stuff. You're going to find more and more such players. We came into the market, for example, with Supermart.ng, realized that nobody's actually out there doing groceries. Groceries are extremely difficult, but every day you see a woman, a working class woman, every week they have to go to the market. They spend about 6 hours going to the market. So we said we can use e-commerce to solve this problem. And it's growing, right? So you find out there's a lot more that can be done. Furniture, nobody's doing furniture online. There's a lot that can be done online, so there's more room for more players. Okay,
now let me read out these statistics from ljmetrics.com, analyzing the e-commerce industry. And it says that the largest e-commerce sites on the internet make up 1% of the total population and generate 34% of the total revenue. And I perceive that will be the same for Nigeria. In light of that, do we still need more e-commerce sites? Because from what you have said, more will still spring up.
More are expected. I expect more to spring up, and I think more are needed. Again, you're going to find out that one player can't do it all. Just like you don't have one retailer in any country, right? You have the Tesco's, you have the Waitroses, you have the Sainsbury's. You have so many different retailers in the country, and that's just retail groceries. You're going to find more and more players coming into the market, and I think that's perfectly fine. Competition and market forces then will make the real good ones stay. Right, but springing up is just one part of it. But even then, anybody that executes very well deserves to win in this market. It's a big market.
Okay, but again, profitability. Amazon, 20 years down the line, no profit. Why is it hard for e-commerce sites to break even?
Alibaba, how do you call it, younger than Amazon, a lot of profit.
But it has a different model, though.
So that's the point, right? So the entrepreneurs have to make that decision, what kind of model they pursue and what kind of strategy they execute. Amazon has decided to execute a strategy of growth first and profitability later. It has its own structural reasons for doing that. It has access to cheaper source of capital, etc. In some other locales, people will decide to go profitability first, like the Chinese did with Alibaba, and it's doable. So I don't think e-commerce is what is the problem. E-commerce can be very profitable. The question is, how do the entrepreneurs decide to run the business? That's a choice that has to be made.
But some of the people who are in the traditional space have argued that e-commerce will only lead to more unemployment. What's your take on that?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not. You have the people who actually take pictures of the inventory that goes online. That's employment being generated, merchandisers. You have the buyers that actually buy the inventory from the vendors that before it's sold online. Those are buyers. You have the customer service people, hundreds of thousands of them. Those jobs are going to be generated there. You're going to have the delivery people who actually move the things from one place to the other. A lot of jobs are going to be generated. I think it doesn't make sense at all to think e-commerce is going to mean joblessness for people.
Okay, so let's look at opportunities for other types of businesses along the value chain. What are these opportunities, and what do you think that other small businesses can also be doing to tap into that?
Okay. Now, I think a business owner, so I think when it comes to retail, it's a value chain, like you rightly said. There's a part where you actually source for the product. There's the part where you actually do all the operational aspect, warehousing, etc. There's the part where you actually generate, attract customers to the business, marketing. You have the part where you actually take the product to the customer, which is distribution. And then you have the part where you actually take care of the customer after. So after sales, customer service. You're going to find some players want to do everything. You're going to find some players who actually can build a business just focused on one part of the value chain. There's a lot of room for that. So companies can, for example, just be doing warehousing for e-commerce companies. Companies can decide to be doing customer service for e-commerce companies. Companies can decide to be doing deliveries for e-commerce companies. There's a lot of room for that. In my business, for example, I like to go to that because it helps me paint the picture. We decided not to get too much into the sourcing part, so we aggregated the inventory from the supermarket. But we focused on the operational part because groceries is extremely difficult. Make sure that we handle the groceries well and deliver to the customer the right way. And that's also a part that we've decided. We didn't go down the full chain, right? So once one understands the chain, one can build a competence within that part. And really, we need more and more competence built in the market. So there's room for a lot of players.
All right, before we go, what are the tips you can leave for anyone out there who wants to also go into the space?
I think retail has always been difficult. I think building a business broadly is difficult. Retail is difficult even more so because there's so many different variables. But it can be very rewarding. In my case, for example, you see the smiles you put on people's faces with what you actually wake up every day to go and do as a job. And it's really very rewarding and motivating. So one has to be ready to put in a lot of longer hours. One also has to be ready to make a lot of smart decisions. But if it comes together, it's very, very rewarding.
All right, Raphael. Thank you for coming on Tech Trends today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you've heard Raphael. E-commerce still has a lot of opportunities. We'll be right back. On our Tech Minute today, the first question comes in from Nduka, who is asking, I would like to replace my old computer, but should I go for a laptop or a phablet? Now, the answer actually depends on what you do presently and what you intend to do in the future. For example, if all you do is browse the internet, social media, send and receive emails, watch movies online, then a tablet will be an awesome choice. But if you do more complex things like video editing or games, then your best bet is to buy a new model PC, possibly the one with a touchscreen. Question 2. How often should I upgrade my website? This came from Shehu via Facebook. Now, Shehu, there is certainly no specific timeline for this. It solely depends on you. But the truth is that technology changes very quickly, so it might be in your best interest to upgrade your website annually, which is what I do. But then I might admit that this may be easier for me because I'm in the tech industry. However, if you consider how important your web properties are, then you may want to invest in a facelift every 2 years. I'm so delighted you stayed with us. Remember to follow @TechTrends TV on social media. And in the days ahead, we'll have a lot of interesting things lined up for our followers on social media, and you'll be the first to know. Don't forget, you can watch these and other editions of the show on our YouTube channel. My name is Chukwemeka Agbata, and I'm saying bye for now.